Hey neighbor, Greg here with growyourownfood.com, and if you didn't know, fall of the year is a wonderful time to plant onion plants. Now these are bulbing onions, what makes those big old onion bulbs, and we plant them in the fall so we can harvest them in early spring here in the South. The actual name of these are called short day type onions, and we're shipping them right now. And I want to show you today our facilities of how we bring them in, how we store them, and a little, some tidbits of what goes on behind the scenes here at growyourownfood.com and how we ship out your onion plants. First thing this year, we added these new tags with the rubber bands around them so we can identify the different varieties here. We wanted to do that. We make sure you kept these varieties separated. Here is the SoFire one. Here's the Vidor. And we got these for each type variety right here we put on them when we send them to you. Really nice. They fit around the plant well so they don't come off during shipping, plus they look really nice. We have installed a new cooler specifically for shipping live plants this year. We've got a seed cooler. We maintain our humidity and our temperature at our home office. It's a little bit different. A cooler for live plants has to be maintained different on the humidity level, and we put this in this year. And one of the reasons that we did is where we could maintain and cool our onions well, but it's also going to be used for all other live plants. We installed this cooler specifically for live plants, but we put a dehumidifier on it just in case we need to use it for seeds. And we have some Jimmy Red corn in here right now. We have all this just on the switch so we can switch it to make the humidity low or raise the humidity high. Now for the most part, on seeds, we want a low humidity. But for live plants, specifically seed potatoes, we want a high humidity. We want about 40 degrees, but we want an 80 to 90% humidity. And that works well for just about all your live plants. So with just a flip of a switch, we can change that. So we got some Jimmy Red corn here now, but we're also using it for our onion plants. Now, when we bring these onion plants in from the field, we like to use these bins that have these little air holes in them. And these air holes allow for air circulation to go through the onions. Most of the time it's late in the afternoon when we get these onions pulled, because we have to pull them after the dew dries in the morning. So we can't get the crew in there to start pulling these till sometimes 10, 11, maybe even 12 o'clock when they dry out well. So it takes most of the afternoon to pull the orders that we need for the next day. The problem we've had in the past is we have what we call field heat in these onions. And that's the heat on these warmer days that we pull these onions that is trapped inside of these bundles. Be able to get that out quickly makes a huge difference on the quality of the onions and how well they ship and how well they hold up. Now we use a process that the produce guys use called forced air. And what that means is we force the air through these bins here to cool them off quickly. You can hear the coolers going right now. I'm going to turn the forced air on in just a minute. It is a mega fan that pulls the air through here. It's kind of noisy, but I want you to understand just how much volume of air that forced air can move. So the big fan sits up in this area right up here. And that is a three-phase huge fan. And when we turn that on, it pulls a vacuum through this hole here. Therefore, it pulls that air through these onion plants here, and it cools them dramatically quicker than not using forced air. We have this in here set on about 48 to 50 degrees, which is ideal temperature for storing our onion plants. So when we bring them in, we stack them right here. We have not done it yet, but we will install a tarp right here because we just got this done last week. We'll install a tarp right here where we can roll that tarp over these bins, and what that will do is it will force the air to come through these bins and come through the onions and pull that warm temperature out there and pull that colder air in there to cool these onions off quickly. And that allows these onions to hold so much better. So let's show you how we pack our order. We've made some changes this year on the way we pack and ship our onion plants. We got new boxes, live plants on there, and it's got air holes in there to help the product breathe a little bit. The major thing is we quit shipping these onions USPS. For the last couple of years, we ship the majority of these onions postal service, and the reason is it's a good bit cheaper. This year we made the decision to go with FedEx and to bring our transit time down dramatically. We had so much problem with USPS packages being lost over 5 or 6 or 7 day transit time that we decided to go with FedEx. And the majority of these onions will be shipped today. Some of the bigger orders might be shipped ground, but they'll get to you within 2 to 4 days at the most. Majority of them is going to be within 2 days, which makes a huge difference to get you nice fresh onions. When we pack these onions, of course, we leave the tag on there so you can identify the variety you got, and then you get a nice onion growing tip card in there telling you thank you for our business, and you got these things you can take your phone to and go to our onion growing guide. We put that in there. We put some nice paper packaging in there. We close it up and we tape it down, and we're using, on these smaller orders, we're using these bags right here that are compliant with FedEx 2-day shipping. And we'll put them in there, and then we put the label on the outside of that right there. FedEx picks it up later this afternoon. We get them to you within 2 days on just about all these smaller orders here. So it makes a big difference this year on our transit time and getting these fresh onions to you when you want them. Now we sell these bundles as 50 to the bundle, but the reality is there's more than that in there. Where they're harvesting in the field, they don't count these onions. They just reach around there and get a handful and try to keep it consistent with the size handful of the onion plants they pull and they bundle. I counted one of these yesterday and there was 76 onions in here, and that's pretty much an average of what you're gonna get in the bundle. We sell them for 50, but yes, they could be 1 or 2 small ones in there, just like that one right there that you may wanna cull out. But there's gonna be anywhere from 60 to 70 good sized onion plants per bundle. So what do you do if you get your onion plants and life happens, you can't plant them for a few days? How do you keep them nice and fresh till you can plant them? Well, this is what you need to do. Take the rubber bands off the onion plants, and you want to spread these out in a nice, dry, cool spot. What you don't want to do is put them in water or have any kind of moisture touch them, because that's going to create a situation where they may can rot. The best thing to do is just to spread them out, just like right there, so they can get plenty of air. Put them in a cool, dry spot. Preferably, they need to be about 50 to 60 degrees, and they can last for a couple weeks. Will these onions do better the sooner you plant them? Absolutely. So the sooner you can plant them, the less stress, transplant shock you're going to have on these onion plants, and they're going to do a little bit better. We cut the tops off these plants because it makes it easier to ship. And when we pull these onion plants here, we get some of the roots here because it's just a natural way that you pull the onion plants. But the reality is all those roots right there are going to rot away. When you plant this onion plant, and you want to plant it about right there, it's going to have new roots shoot out from that basal plate underneath there. So even though these roots are here, they're going to dry up and die and rot away when we plant them. So they're really useless, but they're there because when we pull the plant, we get a few of the roots that go with the onion plant. So when you get your onion plants in the mail, the first thing you want to do is get them out of this poly bag right here, because it doesn't allow those plants to breathe. You want to cut them, get them out of here. The best thing to do is spread them out, just like I said, and then plant them as soon as possible. The varieties we have this year for short day onion plants is So Far by Door 1015, which is yellow onion, and we also have a Texas Early White, there's a white onion. 4 varieties from you to choose from for your short day varieties. And then come springtime, we're gonna have all the intermediate and long day varieties, several of those. So we will be here for you for your onion plants, regardless where you live. But you guys in the South, you need to order them now so that you can get them in the ground November, December.